Hi there, I'm Sean Osterlink, and this is Overcoming with ACT. Today I've got some new cognitive diffusion skills to talk about, and I've got these labeled as skills 2, 3, and 4. So I've got that up here in the corner, and that's how I've got it labeled on my handout. So if I were to give somebody my handout, I can go, hey, watch this video, and it would correlate to this. So anyway, the three things we're going to talk about today here, building on that first skill that I talked about in my previous video, which was to simply take this non-judgmental stance of just noticing and naming, just naming if that's a thought. I can step back from that even more, and I can notice my mind is noticing. I notice that I'm having the thought. My mind is noticing that I'm having the thought. I notice that there's a feeling showing up in the body. Just using language to get some more distance, to get some unhooking going on from what's getting you hooked, what's getting you wrapped up in a thought, in a feeling, in some sort of distress. So to build on that, I've got number 2 up here, and this is thank you mind, or to thank your mind. And so you might even use this phrase, thank you mind. And the point of this is, I think of it as just giving like your mind like a nice little pat. It's like, there you go. You just had a thought. Like, good job, mind. That could be a catastrophic thought. It could be a terrifying thought. It could be an awful thought. It could be just something that's bothering you, annoying you, whatever. Or it could be, again, it could be an emotion. It could be a feeling showing up. It could be thank you mind in response to a welling up of anger or welling up of anxiety. It could be something physical showing up, a kind of sensation in the body. It could be some sort of pain if you're dealing with maybe an injury or even a chronic pain. It could be that you're getting fused with noticing. So the fusion is happening, you're noticing it, you're getting pulled into that. And so you could use this phrasing of thank you mind to simply acknowledge without, again, the aim is to take the judgment out of it. And so you're just going thank you. Your mind, your body is bringing something up to your attention, and it's not really the moment, the place, the time where you want to be all wrapped up in that. Like, maybe there's times when you do need to be wrapped up in that. If you're going to process something through journaling, if you're going to process something in therapy, if you're going to talk something out with somebody, those could be good times to allow some sort of negative thought, experience, emotion, whatever, to be there, because you want to be chewing on it. You want to be giving it its space. It needs that place to really get into the nitty gritty of feeling whatever needs to be felt, of talking about whatever needs to be talked about. At the same time, if it's not showing up at a time where it's useful to be there, beneficial as far as what you want to be focused on, how you want to be spending your time, your brain power, your actions, then that's where diffusion skills would be really useful, and grounding skills. So just taking this step back and just acknowledging. You can come up with whatever phrasing you want, but there's this phrase of just going, thank you, mind. It's just like, I see you there. I acknowledge you. There's a thought, there's a feeling, there's a sensation there. And rather than pushing away, rather than trying to throw it out of the room, I'm not going, get the heck out of here. I'm not going, you can't be here. I'm not running from it. I'm not using positive self-talk at it. I'm just going, thank you. Thank you. The mind is this machine that just creates more and more and more and more thoughts. It's just putting thought clouds up there constantly. And it's just like, that's another one. Thank you. And that's another one. Thank you. Okay. Number 3, the third diffusion skill I've got on here. I've got this written out as name the process. I didn't really have a good term for what this should be called, so that's my best way of describing this. And the example I have is saying something to the effect of like, well, there's that worry again. And so, again, the point is to take out judgment. This isn't a good or bad thought. This isn't a good or bad feeling. And I'm not getting into the content of what that is. I'm not going into, well, that worry just told me that I'm going to, like, if I This I'm terrified of this thing happening and I'm going to die, rather than being caught up in that content. I'm going, there's that anxiety again. There's that worry thing again. It's doing it again, right? Thank you, mind. There's that thing again. Maybe it's something I have on the handout is like examining it from cognitive distortions, and so I have like other videos where I've mentioned that because that's a CBT thing. But if it's something like catastrophizing or all or nothing thinking or personalizing, like putting blame on yourself excessively or blame on others excessively, you might notice that, name that pattern. Well, there's my catastrophizer again showing up. There's that. Oh, there's my overgeneralizer. Well, I'm having that thought. I notice I'm having the thought that I'm going to fail again. Oh, thanks for that, mind. Yep, there's my overgeneralizer. It's all about treating it more lightly. But by treating it light, by taking out the judgment, by observing the process, I mean, kind of float off of the hook that we've gotten caught on with the fusion. So just kind of that what is that process going on? Is it a worry process going on? Is it a depression process going on? This won't work. Nothing will work. What's the point of anything? Why should I even try? Nothing makes me feel better, right? Like to step back and go, like, oh, you know what? There's Mr. Depression there. There's that depression process again there. And I'm just noticing it. And thank you, mind, for that thought. And I'm going to get out of bed anyway. And I'm going to get dressed anyway. And I'm going to plan some things to do anyway, even as my mind is coming up with maybe all kinds of apathetic or melancholy kinds of thoughts. So that's number 3 there. And then number 4 is note the function. That's how I've labeled that one. And so I've got under here is that thought is not helpful. And so for this one, this is examining what that thought or that feeling process is from using descriptive words like is that helpful or unhelpful? Is that functional or not functional? Is that adaptive or maladaptive? Okay, and so using words like that and can create more of a perspective of what is this doing for my life? What is this doing for me to have that kind of thought? If I have that negative thought, and that negative thought is triggering negative emotions, I suppose to be act consistent, I shouldn't even call it a negative thought or a negative emotion, but nevertheless I am. And so I'm being an act hypocrite. And so, okay, so you've got that stuff showing up, and rather than getting caught up in the content of it, or rather than allowing that feeling to dictate, well, I'm having some junk show up here, it's dragging me down, it's not empowering me, it's making me feel worse, maybe it's making me feel hopeless, or maybe it's making me feel scared or anxious, then this is to take a step back and go, what's the function of that? What's that actually doing for me? Is that actually moving me towards what matters, or is it causing me to pull back? Is it causing me to face hard things, or is it causing me to avoid them? Is it causing me to get more caught up in my head, or is it helping me get more present in the moment right now? Is it distracting me is it helping me connect with my friends or family, or is it distracting me from those things? Right? What is the function of this thing? And so if the function of it isn't helpful, then it can be a helpful diffusion skill to go, that thought is not working for me, that thought is not helpful to me, that thought is not functional for me. I notice worry showing up, I notice that process, I notice that thought is a worry, and I notice that feeling of anxiety showing up in me, and I'm going to thank you, mind, for that, and you know what? That thought is not functional for me, and so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have that thought, and then I'm going to do what matters to me anyway. I'll hold both things together. I can hold 2 things at once. I can have discomfort. I can have discomfort in my experience, and I can be with that, and then I can still move towards what matters. I can still take an action. I can connect with what are the things that matter to me and are important, especially in the long-term perspective, and go, I'm going to go and do that anyway. I'm going to move towards that anyway, rather than take the stance of getting caught up in some sort of avoidant control kind of strategy, whether that's getting caught up internally in the head in some way, or whether that's acting out some sort of behavior that is avoidant, that's trying to get away from pain, get away from discomfort, things like that. So there are 3 more skills for you to practice. There's a common theme here. Get away from judgmental sort of language, positive, negative. I like that. I don't like that. Notice where your avoidance struggle is showing up. Notice where you're getting in a tug of war of trying to get rid of something, of trying to get away from an unpleasant feeling, from discomfort that's showing up inside, and then being able to take a step back. Defusion is all about taking a step back. It helps the observing self stance, which is another aspect of the ACT hexaflex model. That's those 6 points that make a little hexagon. And so it's all about just getting to that unhooked place. I'm getting hooked, I'm getting fused, I'm getting all wrapped up in something unpleasant and wishing for it to go away, and I'm getting out of that process. I'm unhooking, I'm unfusing, defusing from that, or deliteralizing the language. That's another term for it. So rather than taking content of the mind literally, this emotion is so intense I might die. That would be an extreme version of that. To go, that is just a thought. That is just a feeling. And I can have that. I can be with that. And thank you, mind, for that. Thank you, body, for that. And you know what? That may be functional for me at this moment. That may not be very functional for me at this moment. That can be functional if I'm journaling about it, or if I'm in therapy. But that's not functional maybe when I'm doing my job or when I'm hanging out with people. And so maybe it's not as useful for me in those other contexts. So I hope that was helpful. If this video left you more confused, or you want to find out more, that's what the internet and the rest of YouTube is for. And there's so many resources available and books and things. So please like and subscribe if you like this kind of content and want to hear more of this and want to hear more from me. And thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.